G'day, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Isaac Butterfield, and for the past few decades, women have been doing really, really well. In fact, 65% of high school graduates are women. So are 60% of the people graduating college. They're outperforming men absolutely everywhere. In fact, 24% more women complete higher degrees at university than men. They're outperforming us absolutely everywhere, and we need to stand up. We need to say no more, and I think that's what we have done, because the best looking model of this year, the hottest one, we finally beat them at their game, ladies and gentlemen, being hot. The hottest model of the year may very well be, allegedly, definitely is, a dude.
I'm the first trans woman to win this award. But I can't accept this award without thanking those that came before me, and specifically the Black trans women that really fought for the space that I'm in today.
That's right. The model of the year, Alex Consani, was born male, a biological man born with a willy. And I tell you what, in a hypothetical world and you had a couple of beers, Alex would be looking pretty good, pretty not bad. Even if she pulled out a little bit of her actual biology, you might just go, you know what, it is the season of giving. Let me suck your cock, madam. You might just dim the lights, ladies and gentlemen. Am I right? Just me? Fair enough. Ladies and gentlemen, before I go any further though, my book Betterman is now on super sale, super duper sale, Boxing Day sales, 40% off. It's the lowest price it's ever been or ever going to be. Do you think this is like a bargain bin thing where we're trying to get rid of stock? You're damn right we are, ladies and gentlemen. 40% off. Go and get it now at isaacbutterfield.com. It ships all over the world. How good? So let's get to know Alex and see why she is the hottest model of the year. Let's take a look. I mean, you know, beauty's in the eye of the beholder and shit, but what is this? What the fuck is this? Oh, I don't want to be a dick here, but she looks like a crackhead on the streets of New York. Now, you may be thinking, why am I talking about someone else's beauty? I'm no oil painting myself. Well, you're wrong. I'm absolutely gorgeous, obviously, but she won Model of the Year. I think it would be a bit ridiculous if I didn't criticize the fact that she looks a little bit homeless. Transgender star Alex Consani is crowned Model of the Year over 5 shortlisted women at the British Fashion Awards in London. Now, nobody really gives a shit, do we? No one does, not even slightly. But I just feel like this has a very Dylan Mulvaney feel to it, don't you think? That a lot of young women who become models, who, you know, they really work hard to become models by not eating and allegedly doing cocaine and sucking the right dicks. Like, they work hard for that shit. And then you've got old Alex, who just walks along with his maybe biological penis that may or may not be there anymore, just swinging in the breeze, taking their crown. That's disgraceful is what that is. On the topic of Dylan Mulvaney, she recently celebrated her 1,000th day of being a girl, and congratulations to Dylan.
I really hope this is an okay time because it is day 1,000 of being a girl. Woohoo! And if that doesn't deserve a celebration, I don't know what does.
Ladies and gentlemen, if this teaches us absolutely anything, it is this. Men are better, far better, at everything than women. Even being women, we're better at being women than women. We're hotter than women, faster than women, stronger than women. Ladies, pull your fucking weight. Have a go. Have a fucking go. But I would like to just raise one little query, and it is this. What does biology even mean anymore? Does it mean anything at all? Thankfully, there is an answer to all this. Well, sort of. Are trans women biologically male? The answer is complicated. Thank you to the conversation for that. The answer is complicated. Okay, let's skip the entire article and I will give that answer. Are trans women biologically male? Well, to be transgender, you have to be transitioning from one gender to the other, therefore confirming that you were born the other gender, and thus providing us with a very simple answer. yes, of course they're biologically fucking male. This is an extremely long article. It's not necessary. It goes in to talk about why the American political spectrum is so obsessed with gender, and it goes on to talk about chromosomes and sex and sperms and ovaries and all that shit. And at the end, it says, well, some people are intersex. So I guess they're not biological males. So you can't say that all trans women are... Shut the fuck up, all right? How many people are intersex every year? Let's find out. 1 in 2,000 people are born intersex. That's a very fucking small number. It's not very complicated at all. Shut the fuck up. Okay, at the end of this year, we can all say this pretty happily, that we don't give a shit what trans people are doing, what straight people are doing, what gay people, what anyone's doing, as long as they're not infringing on the rights of anybody else. As long as you're not a trans woman, born a man, who's competing against women in sport, then go and do whatever you want to do with your life. As long as you're not hurting anyone, as long as you're not harming anyone, as long as you're not being unfair, and what's probably more important, as long as you're not pushing shit on kids. I think most people can agree with that. As long as it doesn't affect kids, who gives a shit? As long as it's not being unfair to someone, who gives a shit? But not everyone agrees with that. Not everyone agrees with that at all. Take a look at this.
These are young people who may have known since they were 2 years old exactly who they are, who suffered for 6, 7 years before they had any relief. And what's happening here, it's not the kids who are consenting to this treatment, it's the parents who are consenting to the treatment. And as a parent, I would say, when our children are suffering, we are suffering. And these are parents who love their children, who are listening to the advice of their doctors, of the mainstream medical community, and doing what's right for their kids, and the state of Tennessee has displaced their judgment.
There's a whole full video to that with more context, but that is a lawyer for the ACLU who I believe, from what she said, is suggesting that parents should be asking doctors for medical intervention in their, 8-year-olds? Because they've been waiting for 6 years since they were 2. Maybe even suggesting even younger. But what they want is life-altering surgery at such a fucking young age. It is crazy. We're talking about removing healthy body parts or even potentially changing one's endocrine system at 8 years old, or a little bit younger, or a little bit older. Madness. You know what? I found something very interesting the other day, and this lady provided 0 sources for what she was saying, and I'm not saying that she's incorrect. What I am saying is I would like to see those sources where she got this information from. Her name is Stephanie Bastian. There's a lot of A's in there. Bastian, who is the head of advocacy for the Women's Forum of Australia, which is apparently an independent think tank that undertakes research, education and public policy development on social, economic, health, culture, etc., issues that affect women. They talk about a lot of different issues affecting women, and some of those issues also pertain to trans women who are born men now coming in and competing against women, whether that be for in sport or whether it be in prisons. There's a whole variation of issues. But it was this post from her that I found extremely interesting, and I think you will too. Now, she begins by talking about Queensland, which is a state in Australia known for being a little bit more right-leaning. But she says Queensland is as bad as Victoria when it comes to healthcare systems being captured by gender ideology. Think of Victoria like California. Kids under 5 are being treated for gender dysphoria in Queensland clinics. That's insane if that's true. There are no minimum age restrictions for kids to be prescribed harmful puberty blockers, which are considered by Australian gender clinic guidelines as most effective from Tanner stage 2, whatever the fuck that means, usually age 9 for females and 11 for males. That's also bananas. There are surgeons who will offer double mastectomies to teenage girls from the age of 13. The only case where a young woman at that age should have her breasts removed is if there's an issue with breast cancer in the family and it's going to save her life. That's the only reason. From 14, they are being prescribed irreversible cross-sex hormones. This raises so many questions. What is going to happen in Australia and the world, really? This is happening in America right now. This is happening in the UK. What is going to happen over the next few years? And the reason that this is such an issue and why so many people have an issue with it affecting children is because most kids who do find themselves or do believe themselves to be trans, there was a study in the 90s that proved this, or at least suggested that it was the truth. You could never conduct a study like this now. It would be not seen as ethical. That these young dudes who thought they were trans, most of them, the vast majority of them, turned out just to be gay. Studies suggest that if you just allow these kids to grow up, they will just grow out of this gender dysphoria. But no, we're acting and changing their lives at 9, 8, 11 years old. Double mastectomies at 13. If you look at that information and still think that it's appropriate, I don't know what fucking world you live in. This is not anyone suggesting that trans people shouldn't have respect or shouldn't have rights. This is a logical human being saying, hey, this is a decision for an adult to make about themselves, not for anyone else to make about kids. Long story short, Alex, the model of the year, fucking hot. Fucking, whew. Let me tell you what, as a biological man myself, I would like to look like her one day. Ladies and gentlemen, be a good motherfucker. Peace in the Middle East. Me dick stinks. Toodaloo au revoir. Bye-bye.